Hey, everybody. I hope this live stream or video finds you doing well. As you can imagine, what we're going to be talking about, once again, it is going to be about love. But this time we're talking about in service. Whenever you love someone, you want to serve them. Women, when a man loves you, he wants to serve you. And that can look like many different things. If you have something that's broke, they may want to fix it. If you need to sit down and talk, they will be more than happy to sit down and talk with you. But service is more than just about the relationship, it's about doing. I love what my grandmother Parker used to say: love is an action verb. Back in her day, it was true. Today, technically in the English language, it is not true. However, I still personally do agree with her that love is not a noun, it's not an adjective, it's not just a verb, it's an action verb. And love does absolutely equal service. And let me give you one scenario. Even when you're loving someone in service, sometimes it is through that they write a book, and then they write a book and then they sell it. They're servicing the public, they're showing love. But there is a price tag that generally comes with that, because they too got to make money and for their families and to be able to supply for their families. So they do charge, and which is there's nothing wrong with that. I love to serve. I, generally speaking, have to have people pay me money before I'm willing to work for them. And it's not out of hate, it's I got to supply for myself too. So, and here's one big thing that you ladies need to know, and a lot more men need to know. Whenever a man and a woman walk into an intimate situation, it is the man's job to make sure that the lady that he is with is in fact satisfied, that he has shown her all the love that she wants. Men should never walk into an intimate situation and just, well, what can I get? You will get what you get, and you'll be okay. With women, that works differently, and men have to respect that. I don't care if she's a one night stand or your wife, it all remains true. So, service is the greatest love that you can do. And I'll let you guys know right now, I've been kind of studying with the medical community and been doing a lot of thinking about it. More people than not who are registered nurses, they're above the registered nurses. They have the skill set in the medical field, such as x ray tech. Maybe they're into the MRI part of, the medical community. These people do what they do because they love people. Do they get paid? Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of them that get paid very well. But it's more than just a skill set to them, it's that they genuinely care for people. Now, of course, there's in all industries, there are going to be people who that is not true. They're just there for the money. There are few. I don't believe it's all of them. There are There in every industry. I just want you guys to know my perspective about this because this is real important. In all industry, I don't care if you're talking about truck driving, doctor, nurse, legal, and what any other profession they were talking about. This includes in pastors, rabbis, priests, bishops. There is some of them who are bad. They're not there for the love. They're just there for the money. That's the only thing they care about. And let me tell you, when I find any bad person in an industry, I'm not going to jump up on the internet and start calling out names and trying to call them out and showing hate and all that. No, 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 I don't do that. What do? I just simply stop having anything to do with them because I know that I'm being a little bit of an extremist, but I'm not really being all that much of an extremist. I have walked into gentlemen's clubs in which the women there are just there to make money. They're happy making the money, and everybody does their thing and goes home. There are people who run gentlemen's clubs that are not very good people. They're not good people whatsoever. I find out who they are. I stay away. It's like, yep, can't go there no anymore. And then there are the people, even in those industries, who they're just trying to be good people. They're trying to help someone. They do sit down and they do talk to people. And they're not there just for the almighty buck. I mean, yeah, they want paid too. They got to go home, feed their families, feed themselves. But they're not bad people. They're not trying to ruin marriages. They're just trying to be of help. And they do sit down with the clientele and talk to them. And they do open up. And when you find people like that, even in like the gentleman's club or the adult entertainment industry, you've got good folks. May not agree with what they're doing, but they're still good people. And I will never say one bad word about them. There are, on the other hand, people in the adult entertainment industry running, like I said, running gentlemen's clubs. I have nothing to do with them. I won't. I just don't. I don't care in what capacity I'm meeting a person. I want them to know that I genuinely care about them. And I don't care about them to get something out of it. I care about them because I can, because it's the right thing to do. And I'll tell you, there's bad people in Christianity and Catholicism. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, we were really dealing with a lot of priests in the Catholic Church having abused little boys. And these little boys grew up to be men who were traumatized. I find anyone doing anything wrong, I'm not going to have anything to do with them. I don't care if they're in a religious community or what community they're in. I'm only willing to deal with people who are trying to be good people to the best of their ability, not to the best of mine. Because I'll be honest with you, it's like what I've said before. I said it in a reel in which I popped off a joke. But the sincere truth is I don't know. Am I being a godly guy? I'm trying to be. I just don't know. Am I a good person? I'm trying to be. I don't know if I'm making it, but I'm trying to be. So I let other people make those judgments. It is not up for me to decide. What I can tell you is that, like I said, I'm trying. But if I meet up with anyone, and oh yeah, this one thing, this is where I was going, of the synagogue of which I attended to. I have let leadership know, hey, you already just go ahead and put me in on the security team. And they asked, well, why? My 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 response was very direct forward. And I mean every word I'm about to say. I am not going to watch someone unjustly hurt people. If you think that's who I am, you really have no idea of who I am. I am gentle when I need to be, and that is most of the time. Thank God that's most of the time. But there is times when I can be harder than a rock. And that's the times that I'm just not going to watch good people being hurt. I refuse. It's I'm great on the strength, not so much on the endurance. But I've got strength and I'm willing to use it if I'm in a situation that where it is proper and appropriate to do so. So that's me being servicing other people. I'm trying to use my talents to service other people. Now, just because I may not agree with a person or do as they do doesn't necessarily mean that I hate them or I'm going to be a part of it. Let me give you this example. This past week, I was with a young lady for a couple of hours, and we were talking about the LGBTQ community. And I'm saying there of, well, here's the deal. I am a man. I am straight. I do not participate in homosexual activities. Will never do that. And there will be no appearance of sin in my life of that. But that does not mean I hate them. I'm not going to mention names, but I am going to mention one thing. Several years ago, I had a gentleman of whom was gay, and he participated in that lifestyle. And it was like, okay, he found out who I am, it was all good. I treated him absolutely no different than I would treat my blood brother, Paul Payne, which you guys may or may not know. He is my youngest brother. I treated him like I would my youngest brother, with lots of love. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to help them promote this activity of which they do. I would not. But then again, I wouldn't promote some things of which I see nothing wrong with, such as a gentleman's club. Am I going to go and start promoting them? No. And here's why. As an adult, it's perfectly legal to walk in and out of. Nothing, it is what it is. But I have noticed that at times there have been children watching my page. And if I'm up here promoting that kind of stuff, that can do damage to them. That absolutely can. And so we've got to be careful with our children. And unfortunately, I am sorry to have to say this, but we are in a very sexualized society. Walk down the street, if you don't see something within 30 seconds that reminds you of sex, I would be surprised. Of course, that does depend upon some area of where you live. In most areas, it's advertised pretty hard. And we've got to be careful with that. We've got to make sure that we are not traumatizing people, especially the kids. So there's no way I would ever advertise something of which I see nothing wrong with. And also, there are a lot of people on my channels that do not like those kinds of things. And my page is not dedicated to those kind of things. My page is dedicated to how to love God, how to love each other, how that I should love other people, how I should love God, and talk to people about that. What's that look like? That's what my page is dedicated to. It's not dedicated to adult topics, though sometimes I do talk. However, so when you're loving someone, it's how can I best serve this individual appropriately? And there are many different answers at many different times. I'm certainly not going to sit here all day and talk about it, but as long as it's proper and appropriate, serve. It is a good thing to serve because in service, you sacrifice. You sacrifice a little bit. And when you sacrifice a little bit, you love even more. When you sacrifice a little bit more, you love a little bit more. And it is a continual cycle as that. So we live in a society that says me first, me first. No, it's not me first. I will tell you how everything goes in my life. I love our Heavenly Father, His Son, His Holy Spirit, His written Torah, everything that explains written Torah, and then I love Israel, and then I love everybody else. And I love everybody else as much as I love myself. I can be good to people because I'm first being good to me. And this is where mental health, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to claim to be one, but I will go ahead and give you my personal opinion. This is where mental health comes in. How can a person be emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, when the only person they think of is themselves? But that can change because if you think about other people, what's in their best interest? Do you want the best to see for them? Even your enemies, if you want to see the best for your enemies and you forgive them, sincerely forgive them, then we can go ahead and start talking about that you are emotionally and mentally a healthy person, especially considering before that you were talking about yourself. Now, there is mental health issues out there that do need medicine that is to help you become a better person because you may suffer from bipolar disorder. I am one of those people, even though I'm mostly medicine free. You may suffer from depression that you need medicine for. I mean, there's other mental illnesses out there that a person would need to take medicine so that they can be the best person they know how to be. But our minds and even our bodies were created to properly and appropriately serve. That's what life is about. It's love and service. And when you get those two things down, then you can change your life. And I know I've said this a lot of times, probably going to say it a lot more. But the first 5 books of the Bible is all about how to love God and how to properly love other people. And also in doing those two things, it's about appropriately loving yourself. I love you all. God bless.